Hello, everyone. Hi, it's William. How are you all? I hope you're doing well out there. Um, excuse me. My allergies are attacking me a little today. I hope you're doing well. Um, it's been a busy week. It's been a busy week, y'all. And I don't know how it's been for all of you out there. I hope you're enjoying it. I hope you had an amazing week. If you hear that, we have thunder outside. I haven't seen Gilbert around very much today. This thunder makes him very nervous. He's probably under the bed. But if you're tuning in out there and you're watching with us, please say hello. Hi. Please let us know where you're coming to us from. I did not put up a a kind of reminder earlier in the day today because we have been busy all day. Friday is normally a day that I try to kind of take part of the day off. Jen has classes in the store and I try to stay out of her way. And for most of the day, I was able to do that. We had to do some errands today, a lot of catching up to do on errands, running around getting stuff. It's also been raining off and on, so that has not been the easiest, but we're thankful for the rain. It feels so good to have the fresh air from the rain coming in the window right now, so I had to open the window. We did some errands this morning. We talked with some people. We organized some stuff. Crazy stuff going on. But mostly caught up on things today. And I have a friend, one of my best friends, coming into town. I've known him since kindergarten. We met each other on like the third day of kindergarten, I'm going to say. That's what my brain tells me it was. And we have been best friends ever since. He lives in Seattle now, but he is coming into town. So this live is going to be a little bit shorter, probably. We were going to try and get some lots together and things, but I just did not have the time. I had to edit the video today for the Saturday morning tutorial, and just when I was just about to pull out my computer and do that, Jen sent SOS, need your help, overcrowded today for classes, which was that's always a good thing to hear. That means that we have more people coming in than we expected. And so I went down to the store to help her kind of help people, manage people, manage expectations. Your wait time is going to be this kind of thing, right? And while I was there, I was able to edit the video mostly. I will get it uploaded here before we leave, and hopefully it will get processing. I apologize to anybody who watched the video first thing in the morning when it came out last week. YouTube, for some reason, took insanely long amounts of time to process that video to 4K. So if you watch that video and you're like, why is the resolution so low? If you watched it early in the day, it's because YouTube has to, when we upload a file, normally it takes 2 to 3 hours or so for YouTube to go standard definition, then it processes it into high definition, then it processes the file into 4K, even though I start with a 4K file. So last week, it took over 8 hours to do that. And if you count by the time I finished editing at probably 1 in the morning or so, till 8:30 in the morning, that's more than 8 hours. So it was not processed when a lot of you got to view it. So I apologize for that. So I'm trying to get it out a little bit earlier today in case it takes a long time again. I don't know why it was suddenly taking so long. But if you had that experience and you're like, this is kind of crappy, go watch it again, because the resolution will be much better. I think it was broadcasting only in 420p, which if you're on a small phone or device, you may not have even noticed. If you're putting it on your TV, you probably noticed, or watching on a larger desktop or laptop. So if you had that experience, I'm sorry about it. I woke up around 8 and saw that it was not finished processing, and there wasn't anything I can do at that point. So we just let it run. But if it was that way for you, you can go back and rewatch it now. It will have processed all the way. So today, let me say hi. Everyone's popping in. Hello, Marianne. Hello, Michelle. Thank you so much for tuning in. Amanda is here with us today. Hello, Bonnie. Happy Friday to you too. Everyone's asking how the kitties are doing. The kitties are doing great. Everybody's doing well. The kittens are still in the bathroom most of the time because Gilbert's still having some territorial issues, and we don't want to turn that into any kind of anger. So we are bringing them out, though, a little bit at a time and playing with them downstairs. We had all 3 of the kittens downstairs playing at once yesterday, which is the first time we've done that because they're fast little things. So we have to both be around and keep our eyes on them so they don't disappear under furniture or behind, whatever. And so, yeah, everything's been good. Barnaby is pretty much fine with them. I hear the kittens meowing to me now. I can hear them. They're right across the hallway. They've not gotten as much love today because we've both been busy and out doing errands, and Andrew's been working on a painting, and we've been crazy busy. So they've had to entertain themselves a little bit. But yeah, so the kittens are good. Everybody's good. Everybody's well fed. They eat like crazy. Someone needed to remind me that the kittens are like power eaters in their early life. But other than that, going through lots of food and lots of garbage bags with kitty litter and lots of kitty litter, everybody's fine. Everybody's doing well so far. Teresa's joining us. Hello, Teresa. Hello, Suzanne. Let's see. Harry is with us. Hello, Harry. Thank you for joining us today. Marion says, didn't notice the poor resolution. Good. I'm glad you didn't notice. Hello, Sandra. Thanks for joining us. Good to see y'all here. Hello, Cheryl. Good to see you here. So I hope I didn't miss anybody. So today we're just doing a quick, because we got to meet my friend. We're going up to show him the Johnstown building around 7. We have to be there around 7. So that means I have to be done with this live kind of around 6-ish at the latest. So it gives us an hour to chat and talk. I don't know that it's going to take that long. But what I wanted to do today was do kind of a week in review like we sometimes do, chat a little bit with y'all. And I'm going to see if I can get my screen sharing magic stuff to work here today, technology, and maybe take you on a quick little tour of some of the things that I use, the program I use, and the way that I edit the Saturday morning tutorials. I am no video editor, by the way. You can watch YouTube videos on this from other people who do it much, in a bigger way than I do right now. But I figured I'm kind of just starting out on this journey of video editing. And if any of you are interested in making your own tutorials or sending things to YouTube or Facebook that are pre-edited, pre-recorded and pre-edited, instead of just doing lives, I figure since I'm kind of a beginner at it, a beginner showing another beginner is probably good. Because I've noticed when I watch people who are very advanced at it, oftentimes you get thrown almost too much information, right? And you don't know quite the starting point yet. So I'm going to try and show you that today. If you're interested, hang out with me. If you're not interested, stay for the chat and then say, I'm never making videos in my life. But I think it's still something good to see. And every once in a while, I try to throw these little tech bonus episodes at you. Like we did a simple photo editing one that I talked you through one time. And today I thought we'd do a quick video editing. See if you like it. I don't know if you like these things or not, but I like them. I like playing around with it. So hopefully you will too. I think it's good for anybody who wants to do their own videos just to get an idea. The software I use, I think is, it's a little bit expensive. Excuse me. I have congestion like right here. The software I use is a little bit expensive, but it is if you have an Apple computer, it's Final Cut Pro. It is a one-time fee. So you buy it once and all the updates are free. And it has been that way for years. Now, if you have an iPad with an M1 chip or greater, you can use Final Cut Pro on the iPad now. They just came out with it in the iPad. It works a little differently. I don't have an M1 chip or greater in my iPads, so I can't actually demo that for you because I can't use it. I'm excited to try it. I do want to upgrade my iPad to be able to do it, but I'm waiting on the next gen of the iPads. I think there's some big things I think coming to the next generation, from the rumors I'm hearing, and I hate to buy the current generation. I think the next one's going to probably be 6 months or more off, so it's going to be a little wait, but I got to save up for it anyway. And I just, they just came out with all this stuff. I feel like they came out with it. Apple's good at supporting their things for a long time, but they're on the M2 processor. I think the next iPad's going to hit the M3. That's the one that I'll probably buy to be the most up-to-date that I can, with anything that they decide to do. If you're going to spend the money, sometimes it's worth waiting, I think. So I can't show you that. And the reason I say that is because that is a subscription plan. It's one of Apple's very first subscription apps. I think it is the first, that along with Logic Pro. But it's $4.99 a month. It makes it super easy. Like this, I think is $300 or $400 for the computer version, compared to $4.99 a month. So you'd have to put a lot of months in on the subscription plan to hit that, the big price, the one-time fee. So they've done it that way, I think, so that more creators can get their hands on it. It's a little price prohibitive sometimes for people. We didn't have it for a long time. I was using iMovie, which comes with any Apple computer, and iMovie is really great. The only reason I upgraded is because I want to learn more, but I still use it like I still kind of use it like iMovie. I don't use a lot more to it. So you can use iMovie and you can get it for free with any of your Apple devices. It comes on the iPads for free. It comes on the desktops or laptops for free. And it's a really great program. It's a great way to start out. I'm just going to show you this little beefier program that I use now so you can get an idea of what it's like. Some of you may have used iMovie. Marianne says $4.99. Yes. The Final Cut Pro for iPad, M1 chip or greater, it can't work on any other iPads, is $4.99 a month. So it's $4.99 a month on a subscription plan, or I think it's $299 to buy it for your computer, a one-time fee. So the $4.99 helps younger creators and people who don't have as much money try it. And I think you get a month free anyway. But it helps people, break into that. And I think that's great. I think, I love paying a one-time fee too, when I can afford it and then it's done and over. But also, a lot of our stuff, like our Adobe plan, our, cloud storage, our TV shows, now it's all on a monthly fee because it's easier, I think, to afford that for most people. So it's kind of nice that they broke it down that way. Michelle says our computer is Windows. This will not help you, unfortunately. There is Adobe Premiere. Adobe Premiere is a video editing platform that you can use, which is not free. You have to pay a monthly fee for Adobe Premiere. I don't remember what it is right now, but it also there's also DaVinci Resolve. DaVinci Resolve is what a lot of people have been moving to lately. DaVinci Resolve, I believe, I think, have a free version for Windows PCs. So I think there's a free version. I don't know how much it allows you to do before you have to move to the Pro version, but I think even the Pro version is not that expensive. So a lot of people have been moving over to DaVinci Resolve. It's well supported by plugins. And I think DaVinci Resolve may also have a tablet app, but don't quote me on that. I'm not 100% sure. So I know a lot of you are on Windows. And that's okay. The video editing software, a lot of it looks similar. So it's going to be similar for a lot of people. Sandra says, I think Adobe Premiere is like 79 or 129. I doubt it would be a one-time fee. Let's look it up. I could be wrong, but let's just take a look. I have everything here. Plans and pricing. Let's see. Adobe Premiere Pro, you can get it for $35.99 a month. So it's $35.99 a month, or you can pay annually, which comes to $431.88 a year. Versus, and that there is no buy it and have it plan that I can see. So Adobe Premiere Pro, expensive, a little expensive. That's why I don't use it. I paid $300 one-time fee for Final Cut Pro. It's $438 a year, or $432 a year, every year to use Premiere Pro. Harry says, I subscribe to Adobe Creative Suite and have all their programs, but have not tried the video. Yeah, if you already subscribe to the suite, and if you do that, you can pay $85 a month and you'll get all of the Adobe suite. So depending on what you need, if you need Photoshop and Illustrator and Premiere Pro, you may as well pay the $85 a month. We have a smaller plan that just includes Photoshop and Illustrator. It's a graphic design plan. We just have that. So I don't have Premiere Pro, but I'm all Apple oriented. So, and I had an idea that Final Cut Pro was going to come out for Apple tablets at some point, and they finally did it after years of people waiting. Yeah, so that's that. There is another one that is on tablets, and I'm going to forget the name of it. Let's see if I can find it real quick. And I have used it, and it works really well. Some people really like it, and if I can figure out what it is, you would think that it would be one of the first ones to come up. LumaFusion is the name. So LumaFusion, I don't know if LumaFusion is available for Android or not. It is on Google Play. So LumaFusion on Google Play. I have used LumaFusion on my iPad before all of this, and it was nice. I just didn't want to get used to it because I knew that I was planning to purchase Final Cut Pro. So getting used to one and then flipping to another, I was like, I'm just starting out as it is. So I didn't want to do all that. So LumaFusion, it is $29.99, $29.99, one-time fee. Sometimes when they do a generation, like a whole new version, like they go from version 3 to 4 instead of like 3.5, sometimes they'll charge you again. I know that happens, but it's $30 generally for a one-time fee. And a lot of people swear by it for the mobile editing, whether you're doing it, I think they have it for your phone even. I think LumaFusion is on your phone. It can be on an Android tablet, it can be an iPad, an iPhone. I think they even have LumaFusion if you have one of the newer Macs that can run the App Store apps from your iPad. I think you can actually run it on your Mac too. So LumaFusion is great cross-platform. And like I said, I have used it. I did like it. I started to get a little comfortable with it, but I just stopped using it because I knew I didn't want to get used to something that I wasn't going to continue using. Because my final goal was to upgrade to Final Cut Pro because it's all in the Apple ecosystem, and that's where I wanted to be. But LumaFusion, and the same thing, LumaFusion, DaVinci Resolve, and Adobe Premiere Pro all get very good. You know, it's kind of one of those things like what's your favorite? You know, it's the same thing as like, do you like Windows or do you like Macintosh or Apple? It's your personal preference. It's what works for you the best, but try them out and find out. So that all being said, we can review what's been going on. What's been happening, everybody? So we started out this week with Lampwork Glass. We did a Lampwork Glass review, and we added a few lots onto that Lampwork Glass. So I'm going to do a final call on this today. So final call on the Lampwork lots. If you have missed any of those videos, you can watch the review one. That's probably the one that's going to tell you what's kind of left. Some people have bought from the review, so there are a few of those that are still that are missing. But if you watch the review, you'll get a general idea of what you might expect if you wanted to order any of that from us. I also got all of the descriptions and all of the stuff posted to Facebook, all except the very last day. So on that review day, we added some more to it. Those are not in the collection on the Facebook album, but you can check it out. And if you see something in that album, you can feel free to hit us up too. Just send us an email and we will check it and see if it's still available. Because I'm not putting sold out on the ones that have sold. Just send us an email. We'll check for you. So I think that was Monday. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Andrew's been doing some various seed beading stitches with you all. So we have also eyelets. I know Amanda sent us an email asking if we could demonstrate a way to do eyelets. So Andrew did that on Tuesday. His Tuesday tutorial was to show you eyelets. I don't have that with me because that's at the cottage. He did that there, and I didn't bring it back here. So if you missed that and you want to learn how to add eyelets to leather to use it in jewelry, you can check that out from our Tuesday video. On Wednesday, he showed you how to do spiral stitch. And spiral stitch is where he made this beautiful, beautiful thing here. And made that. And then he also did a circular brick stitch, which I think is what that. I didn't actually get to watch that video yet, y'all. It's been wild. So I think that is that. And that's what he made to show you how to do that. So circular brick stitch was yesterday. He's also been doing some things with pearls. If you missed those, that was last week at some point. The video is called Playing with Pearls. And he kind of showed you how to make some shapes and some things with the pearls. So there's that. I think Andrew also showed this. This might be the circular brick stitch more than the other one. I don't know. Told you I didn't get to watch them, and I don't know my stitches very well. Okay, so this is Andrew's tuning in. So this is the spiral stitch, not using the dagger. So these are the same stitch. This and this is the same stitch. And I think this is the circular brick stitch. Did that. Michelle says, I really want to learn how to make a bowl out of seed beads. Andrew did a great job showing how to do circular brick stitch. I did get help finding a pattern finally in peyote stitch in an Etsy store. Nice. So the round one, he says, is the circular brick. So that he showed you yesterday. And he's also been working on some things from one of his past videos, which was peyote stitch pendant. He's been, I don't know if you saw this little wild thing here. So he's been making and adding on to that one. So playing around with these different stitches lately with y'all. So if you missed any of those, if you missed any of those, please go back and check them out because you can learn a lot for free, y'all. So did that. We did release a new design challenge mix. I'm looking at my notes, which Dragon's Blood, Jasper, it has sold out. So that kit is gone. So thank you to all of you who purchased that. The Philippines kit, the Global Adventure Philippines, is also now sold out. So thank you, all of you who grabbed that as well. And just a reminder that we are phasing kits, the current kits. There'll be more. There's always going to be more kits, right? But we're phasing most of the current kits out of the online store. So if you do see something there that you like, we do hope you'll go and grab it because it will be gone soon. We keep saying soon, probably kind of like at the end of the month. So we'll give you a few, like another, what, 2 weeks, week and a half? 2 weeks, yeah, to grab anything in the kit category. Now that includes kits. It includes design challenge kits, if there are any left in there, design challenge mixes, like the Sodalite and the Carnelian and the Pearls and the Amethyst, all of those will be going away. Also, the luxury bead blends. So there are luxury bead blends in the kit category. Those will also be going away. We have the rainbow luxury bead blends out there. And I know there are some other various ones. There's the there's a desert one. I can't think of the full name. But there are a number of luxury bead blends. What's Andrew saying? You want to have a small sale to help part with the kits. Maybe we'll do a kit sale. We'll see. Andrew's coming up with ideas on the spot. So maybe we'll do another sale out there for all of you who missed the Memphis sale, but we'll do it just on kits in some way. Help clear out some kits maybe. That might be good. Maybe, I don't know. I'll talk about it with Andrew and maybe tonight. Like I said, we're going out with my friend tonight. We have to be in Johnstown by 7, which I'm running low on time as it is. So we have to be there. We have to, and we're going to go out to eat. And yeah, it's going to be fun because we haven't seen him in a while. I don't think we've seen him. Has it been since our wedding? Has he been back since our wedding? I can't remember. But it's been a while. So it'll be good to see him. We don't get out there very often, unfortunately. I would like to visit him out there because I would love to see Seattle. I've never seen it before. Suzanne says, buy a kit, get a kitten. We are not giving our kittens away. Yeah, we'll do something. Maybe we'll do something in the kit category. That sounds like a good idea. Just for the last half of the month here to get them out. We did at one point do a buy one kit, get one half price. So maybe we'll do something like that as a incentive to purchase kits. We'll see. Andrew says the Center for Metal Arts in Johnstown has kittens. See? Well, if we know enough people with kittens, you can buy a kit, get a kitten, right? I don't think I want to do that. Marion says Seattle is a beautiful city. Andrew tells me stories of how nice it is there. But I have not been there. So hopefully someday I will get there. All right. Barnaby is sleeping on the floor because he was like climbing over me. I've not given him enough attention today. We've not been home enough. So he was missing out. He didn't get to go outside very much today. So he's been trying to tell me that. So he's sleeping down at the floor so that when I leave, he's ready to go too, in case he can go out. But he's my buddy. So, all right. I'm going to flip the camera around. Maybe not. Because I don't need to do this screen share, but I wanted to show you first real quick. So my computer, as we're going to start talking about this video editing stuff, maybe. And I do have to remove that because I think it's going to get in the way. So hopefully now you can see the screen better when I share it. So my computer, as you will probably already know, many of you know, many computers, especially Macs right now, don't come with a lot of hard drive storage. We're going through a phase in technology where most computer manufacturers are moving from a hard disk drive, an HDD, to an SSD a solid state drive. And so instead of giant or not so giant spinning platters, a hard disk drive, in case you don't know, has what looks like kind of a record player in it. It has a disk, it has an arm, and that arm moves and reads and writes over that disk. And it can do that many times before it wears out. But eventually they generally do wear out. And sometimes that arm, you know, a jolt. It used to be in the old days, especially, if you bumped your computer, that arm could crash. Literally, the computer crashed because the arm crashed against the disk. And you had a hard disk failure. There can also be bad sectors on a hard drive which cause hard disk failure. So that is Andrew saying, be sure to close tabs apps with proprietary info, please. I was working on your computer. I'm going to be doing it on my laptop. So I think we're all good. I have it set up just to share the one screen. So you're not going to see my mess on my computer. Hopefully. So most computers are moving over to SSDs now. And SSDs are much more expensive than HDDs. And so with this transition, to make computers much faster, they're putting in the SSDs, but the prices are either going up or the hard drive sizes are going down to meet the price. And so most Macs start at around 256 gigabytes, which if you have cloud storage like iCloud, which you can get with your computer, I think you get 5 gigabytes to start and you can buy more. Pretty much it's your storage is offloaded is pretty much what it is. And so you have your Marion says you can overcome a sector damage if you know how. Yeah, there are programs to do it. There are programs to patch that, but you can never get it back. Once the drive starts failing, that's a good indication that you need to replace it. My backup disk just recently failed, so I need to buy a new backup for my desktop. It gave no notice that it was going to do that. And one day I came in and it was screeching, literally. So it's having some issues. And it's not recoverable. I lost all the information on it, but thankfully it was mostly all just backup stuff. So I got to get a new one. Anyway, so yeah, so generally for the price that you would have paid for like a 2 to 4 terabyte computer storage, you're going to get 256 to 500 gigabytes now. And so the reason I'm saying this is because when I video edit, I edit off of one of these. This is a SanDisk 1 terabyte Extreme Pro portable SSD. And this is fast enough. You want to make sure that when you get one of these, that they are fast enough to edit video off of. And I can edit video. I did research. This is one. There's one also by Samsung that I was looking at. But this one is fast enough that when I plug it into my computer, it's fast enough to edit the video directly off of. So I film with our iPhones. All of our video tutorials right now are filmed with iPhones, but we did get a grant, y'all. We're going to get a new camera. That's the plan anyway. So hopefully we'll have a higher quality view. We'll see. I got to play around with lenses and a whole new thing. So anyway, we get it with the iPhones. Once it's saved on the iPhone, I transfer it over using AirDrop to this. Andrew says you're not supposed to tell anyone yet. So you didn't hear that, everybody. Didn't hear that. Didn't know about it. Never mind. Never mind. So we didn't do that. We just have this. And so what we're doing, I use this. I AirDrop everything over to this. AirDrop is an Apple spec thing that you can send files back and forth between phones, iPads, computers, all that. So I drop it onto this. It's stored in this in a hierarchy. I have a nice hierarchy of where everything is. And then from here, I plug this in and I go into the video editing software. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to plug it in and let's see, hopefully I can get this to work. Does that work? Can you all see that? And let me see here. You don't need to see my face. So let's do that. What's that look like? You don't need to see my face. You just need to be able to hear me, right? Okay, so here we go. Oops. And other computer just came on. All right. So let me go over here. Is this moving? No. Right? Marianne, she has a hard time not hearing. Close your ears, Marianne. You didn't hear anything. Susan says you said something, William, right? Didn't say anything. Didn't say a word. Okay, so hopefully you can see this. I know on some smaller screens it's probably small. It's small on my phone. I'm watching it there too. So this is what things look like in Final Cut Pro. This is how it opens up. All right, there's nothing loaded. I have nothing there right now. So what I'm going to do is I go into the File menu. And why is it not showing that? Why is it not doing the right thing? Let me try it. Let me try this again, because I think maybe if I screen share entire screen, let's try that. Share. Uh-oh. I went on crazy repeat. Now, since I'm sharing the whole screen, let me make this bigger. Okay, now I think you can see it. There, now we can see the menus. I think it's important for you to be able to see what I'm doing. So Final Cut has this thing, it's called libraries. Final Cut has libraries, events, and projects. They are various ways of storing the information that you are using. It's a little bit, they changed this nomenclature in the iPad app, and I think it makes more sense the way they did it there. So I'm waiting to see if they actually change it in the desktop app as well over time. But you always start with a new library. All right. So you name this library, and this is where in here, this is my extreme hard drive. That's what it's called, or SSD. Then I have our AG tutorials. I have them stored under the 2023 date. And this is the latest one coming up this Saturday, Simple Wire Wrapped Ring. All right, I'm not going to open that now, but we're going to play around and pretend. So I'm going to back up into here, and I'm just going to make a new folder that's just called 17, or we're just going to call it a trial. We're going to call it the trial project. And I'm going to create that. And normally what I do is I save the library the same name as the folder that it's in to keep everything the same. All right, I like to keep everything the same. Some people will do it different ways, and I'll show you a little bit why. So the first thing to do is over here, you have to modify, because we record in HDR, which means if you have an HDR capable screen or TV, you will see brighter colors and much more vivid detail. Michelle says, William can't see what you are doing. Is it just because your screen's small, or can you not see the app at all? I don't have it playing. If I start it playing on another computer, it's gonna. So hopefully, can you see the app? Are you all seeing the app on the screen? If you have a very small screen, this will be very small. It's a lot of working space. I'll try to make my cursor bigger so you can see. On a Mac, if you jiggle the cursor, it gets bigger. Andrew can see it. So up here, this is where my cursor is. Let me see if I can make it bigger again. Up here, we have to modify this because we record in HDR. And if you are working in Final Cut Pro and you bring in HDR clips on a non-HDR project, the colors will be completely blown out. And for the longest time, I could not figure out why colors were blowing out. Sorry, the fire department is apparently going on a fire call. That's what that noise is. So hopefully you can still hear me. So I'm going to change this to wide gamut HDR right here. All right. And we're going to change that. That makes the whole project wide gamut HDR, which is what we film in. Now down here, this is the event. So we have a library up here, that's up here, and then we have an event here. And you can have your event you can have different events for different days. So if you are working on one project that it took multiple days to film, you can put each filming resource, every video from one day, in a separate event from the other events, from the other film clips. So it's just how you want to do it. We record everything at once. We have like at most 3 or 4 separate video sections that we record in. So I just end up using one event. So, and I name this the same thing again as all the others right here. And then we get into, once we have the library and the event, then we're going to go into new, and we're going to create a new project. And this is the actual project that you're composing using all of the film sources from multiple events, if you want to, all contained in one library. It's a little bit strange, but you get used to it after a while. So I have these set up that they are wide gamut. I have them in stereo sound. I have the 4K format, which is what we record in. And I'm going to name this one trial as well. So I have all those settings done that I want. And I also have this already preset up to, it works with my files directly off of the hard drive. It does not copy all the files onto the computer, because my computer has limited storage space, and I don't need to be copying all these files to the computer when they're already saved on the hard drive. I can work right off of the hard drive, and it saves a lot of space that way. So now that I have everything that I need, here's the project. This project up here is what we're going to start down here on the timeline. This is the timeline we're going to be working on. All right. So, but first, I don't have anything in this event to actually use, right? I have no media to put in here. So I'm going to right click and I'm going to import media. And that's going to bring up my hard drive again. And I am going to pull up the one just from today and see, I store this in a folder. I always store the media in a folder called original media, so that I know that that's the plain, uncorrupted, unedited media in there if I ever need to go back to it. And I go in there and I select all of them and I hit enter, and it starts bringing them in. Now it brings them in, and you can see each clip. Let me make my cursor bigger if I can here. Each clip here, this is the one I'm looking at right here. It comes as multiple lines. I like to see just the clips. So I reduce this size, and now you can easily see I have one. This is the main clip. This is the main body of what we do. I have the intro that we film, and we have the outro that we film. So every time that is done that same way is what we try to do anyway. All right. And what it is doing up here is it's transcoding and analyzing all these clips. So it is automatically going through every one of these clips and checking them for sound. If it thinks there's some, like it needs to be louder or it needs to be more quiet, it's going through and doing what it can do automatically when I'm not doing anything. So if I am not working on the timeline, it's automatically going in there and just behind the scenes transcoding and analyzing everything to help me later when I go to color correct or sound correct everything. All right. So the other thing that we don't have yet is a title. We don't have a title yet. So there are a bunch of titles that come with it. You can also buy plugins for Final Cut Pro that have extra titles that you can use. Now, I often copy and paste one in, but I'm going to go back here. First, we're going to add this project down to the timeline. So there's a little space. I don't know if you can see the square now that's saying, okay, here's the project. And what I usually do is I start by throwing in my media. So I know this one is the intro. I know that by the file name. It's 5613. 5614 would be the after one because we filmed them in order. But we actually filmed this part first. So all I'm doing is dragging and dropping these down here into this timeline. This is where I'm going to cut things apart. This is where I'm going to edit things down along here. And I can pinch to zoom in or zoom out. And I want to be able to see everything, so I can add that outro there at the end. And then over here in this section are all your dissolves or crossfades and all that kind of thing. So I usually use a cross dissolve. I like the way that looks. So in between each clip, we're going to put in a cross dissolve. It's going to say there's not enough room to put this. Do you want to overwrite a little bit of each side of the clip? And that's because when you're making a transition, it has to transition over a part of the video. And I've not edited anything out yet, so it doesn't think we have space. But I go ahead and I create that transition. And I'm going to do that at the beginning, between the intro and the main body. And I do it at the end, going to the outro. And what that does is that gives us a nice little dissolve into everything that we're doing. All right, it's just kind of a more relaxing way to shift the scene, I guess, is what we would say. The other thing that I always add, and I'm going to import this media by right-clicking and import, I have, for 2023, I have a music for background. I have one musical, it's non-copyrighted. Well, I have a license to use it. And I always add that in as background music. You may not ever hear it, but if Jen gets quiet enough and your volume is up loud enough, you will hear it. It's just something to be in the background so it's not completely silent. And most people recommend that if you're doing videos to have that in there. So I put that in here at the bottom, and this is what I'm doing. I'm just rearranging things as I go. And as you rearrange things, we call this A-roll. So A-roll is what the majority of what you're doing is. If you want to add B-roll, so if I wanted Jen to be able to keep talking, but we wanted to overlay the screen with something else, like the finished product at the end, instead of her just putting it on the mat, if we did a really nice zoomed in picture of it or something, we could put it on top here, and then that takes over. So as you build up on this timeline, whatever you have at the highest point takes over the video roll. So maybe that's a little complicated. That's why I stick to this. I stick to editing very simply with this one timeline right here. I have done B-roll sometimes in some of our shorts that we've done, but I don't get to it much in her tutorials. When we start working with Andrew and doing our tutorials, we might do more of that. I just want to practice a little bit. All right, so, and what I'm going to do is I always edit this sound, and I can edit this sound by grabbing the sound bar here and reducing it, or going over here to the side, and I always reduce that to -51 decibels. And that keeps that sound very low, but still able to be heard if there's no sound at all. And that way, if Jen is not talking, there's still something to show. So what I do is I copy and I paste, just like you would copy and paste text. And I constantly paste that down along the bottom of the timeline without changing the volume. I just changed the volume accidentally. So that song gets played on repeat across the entire video. And we're going to leave this overhang down here. It's overhanging the video, which means if I did this like this, it would just continue playing that black at the end of the video until that song was over. But we'll shorten that up in the end. And shortening things is as easy on here as grabbing the end. Oops. Let's undo that. As I say, it's easy. Grabbing the end, and everything is a little magnetic. It snaps to things. So you can see that snapping to the end of that video. And that means that I'm directly ending that music at the very end of my video. All right. Hi, Barnaby. You help me with this a lot, don't you? Yeah, kids help me do this a lot. You gonna teach it? You want to teach it? My good boy. All right. So I don't know if you're going to have volume on this. No, if I put volume, it's going to be a mess. So let me zoom in a little bit. And when I do, down here, if you can see, if you have this on a large enough screen, you'll see the wave for the volume for the actual speak. And let me see, I can break this out. Show audio animation. Maybe I can break it out. Expand audio. So I've just expanded the audio into its own thing. And you can do that. I don't usually do it, but I wanted to break it out here so you can see, like, this is about where Jen starts talking, where she says, hello, everyone. So you can see that visually as well as auditorily hearing it as you're editing. And it makes it really easy when you can see those spikes in sound. If you want to cut something out or change something, it's very easy to get to like where that noise, that talk starts. So she doesn't start talking until right about here. The rest of it is us getting the camera ready. She gets ready. Sometimes she makes some faces at me for blooper reels if we do another blooper reel. So right about there is where she starts talking. So I'm going to, because I expanded this, I'm going to condense it again, collapse the audio back in, because I want to change both of these at the same time. So I can grab this clip and I can just pull it back to where she starts. And then we just move this over, maybe. Gonna move this over. And then we can start this at the beginning. So it already moved the beginning. That's what it was doing. That's why I couldn't move it over. And then you can see she starts talking here. And she does the talk that she does. And she's saying, please share your stuff. And there she said, one take. She's like, because normally this takes us many more takes than that. She's like, one take. So she's ended there. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull this side over here. Nope, this side. And sometimes when I have a transition, it doesn't pull the side. So what we're going to do is we are going to use the blade. And the blade is a Command B, is in blade, and it cuts that out. So I just can cut and delete that out. Sometimes you can't just drag it. It doesn't want you to do it. So this is the transition that I talked about. This is that you can see it going into, so that's why we add that there as Jen starts talking about what's going on. But I don't think she starts actually talking about the project until you start seeing the wave signs over here. So what we go in to do, we go in here, and we go over here, and it's not gonna let me do it again. So we blade that right there and we get rid of that. And then that's where things start to happen. And inevitably we're far away from the project right now, right? So we use over here, there are ways of zooming in digitally. And I use this a lot to zoom in so that y'all can see what she's doing, and also to follow her around, because once it's zoomed in, if she moves around, sometimes it's hard to follow her. So we're gonna, we put these little key points in, and we're gonna put one here, and I'm gonna expand the video animation so you can see them here. So it just put a key point here for both position of the screen and zoom on the screen. All right. And then I'm going to pick the next point. So let's pick this point over here. And we're going to put this in for the 2 key points. And what I'm going to do in this one, though, is at this point, we're going to zoom in. Let's start zooming. I usually start the zoom at about 175% or so. So somewhere around there. And then we have to go in and we're going to shift this around. So now that we're zoomed in, we want what she's doing in the center of the screen. So what you can see is before we were out here and we've just zoomed in and shifted at the same time to make sure that she's in screen. Now, as she starts working with things, like right now, she's kind of high now. She moved her hands a little bit. She was down here. Now she's up here. So what we can do is we can put a positional point. We don't need to change the zoom, but we can put a positional point in here and here, and we're going to bring that down on that second point. So what it does is it takes it and goes from up there, and it starts bringing the screen down, so we're back to where she is. So I watch the video and I follow her around, making sure that what she does stays in the screen as much as possible. And then we can also zoom in further if we need to, various points of time. Sometimes we do some cuts. She did a lot of sanding in this tutorial toward the end. So I did some jump shots. I cut out some parts just so it wasn't as long. You don't need to sit and watch her sand everything down all the time. So I cut those out. So I was working through a lot of this, and this is what you do for the whole video. You watch it in real time. You take things out, you cut stuff out, you put stuff in, you move things around if you need to. And then you can also do all the color correction too. So you have exposure, saturation, and color. So you can change these globally. You can change these one at a time. Try to give her some better color. And I have numbers that I have preset that I use for this generally, but I'm just showing you here that you can play with these, and that gray on the mat is always pretty bright, so we try to tone it down. On your screen, and this is the thing, on your screen it may look very overblown, the colors right now. It's kind of happening on my iPhone. That's because I am in HDR. It's broadcasting that in HDR, but on my screen, it looks perfectly normal. So that's what can happen until everything gets processed. But I color correct on an HDR timeline, so we make sure that the color looks good when it gets published. And then back to what I was saying, titles. There's all different kinds of titles you can do. I'm trying to remember what the titles are that I generally use. But let me just show you essential titles. Let's see, what are their essential titles? Let's just throw a title in, essential rotate. If we wanted to put this in, we drag this to the beginning of the timeline, and I'll show you that the difference. Oh no, Barnaby. So if we had this, and what I was trying to talk about A roll and B roll. So this is in the A roll line. So this is what is playing when we hit play. And you can see that's a rotate title. So it rotates, and then it's really long. I would make that a lot shorter, and it would fade into what she's doing. Now, if we move this up into B-roll, up above, it would come in and do it on top of the screen, on top of what we are doing. And that's not what we want for this kind of thing. So instead of having it there, it gets moved down here. And that gets in line with what we're doing and takes the place of what we're doing until it's over. So that's kind of keeping that on A roll versus B roll stuff. What else? What else can I show you? We do that at the beginning and at the end. I usually put some cross dissolves in between so that it dissolves in and out nice between this and the video. See, it overlapped that one a little bit, and that's what the dissolve does, is it overlaps the video with the title, which is kind of a nice thing. And then we put one of those at the end for the outro saying, please subscribe, please share if you like what we're doing. And the music gets edited and gets replaced. As you chop things up, the music gets moved around a little bit. So the music has to be redone a little bit. And let me see if I can show you as I make this smaller. You can see some of this music got overlapped. And that's what happens when you cut the video if you put the music in the beginning. But I like to put the music in the beginning so I don't forget to put it in later. I've almost forgotten and had to redo everything again. Because once you export it, it can take, it generally on my computer takes about as much time to export as the video is long. It's pretty real time, which is actually really pretty good. The M processors in the new Macs are really good that way. And you can edit multiple streams of 4K video really easily on those. But yeah, we throw one of these titles at the end. And you can correct sound. I can't show you the sound as much because I can't get the sound to come through on here without causing horrific reverb from the 2 cameras that I'm using now. But the sound is edited in the same way. It suggested that I might want to do some noise removal. I usually remove noise up to about 60% because we have some humming at Star Cottage Studio. Sometimes it's the dehumidifier. Sometimes it's just the lighting that we use. Sometimes there's some humming going on. So that helps take out the humming. I bulk up the loudness because sometimes Jen talks lower. So we make that a little bit louder artificially so that when you listen to it, you don't have to turn it up all the way to hopefully hear her. And then when you're all done, you go to File and you go to Share, and I share it as a 4K device. There's a YouTube and Facebook sharing, but it takes the quality down. So I share it at pure 4K, and that makes a really big file, but I save it to my external hard drive. And then once that file is saved, which I've done now for this ring tutorial, that file gets uploaded to YouTube. YouTube uploads that and then processes that video 3 different times. And so let me go over here and let me remove this, and I'm back. Hello, everybody. So I don't know if that was helpful, if that gave you any idea. I know on smaller screens it may have been very small. I know Marianne said she put it on her TV. So hopefully that gave you a little bit of an idea, though, of what we do to edit videos. And I know that was super quick, but I didn't want to get into too technical of anything. If you have questions, though, you know how we are. If you support us, we'll do our best to support you too. So if you are trying to do videos and you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. I can see if I can help you. I'm new at this too, so I'm learning as I go. And if you like things like this, I will share more as I learn more. It's just one of those things that, you know, I know the programs can be expensive to do this, and not everyone's going to have them or have access to them. But there are, like I said, LumaFusion is a really good one. It works very similarly in many ways to Final Cut Pro. The timelines, the same kind of concept of the timeline and editing things. So it's really, I think it's useful. The fact that they're putting it on newer iPads, even the iPad Air, the newest iPad Air has the M1 chip. So you don't have to buy the Pros to get Final Cut Pro on your iPad. You can do an iPad Air. But for $4.99 a month, once you learn it, it's pretty amazing. The only thing bad about it on the iPad right now, 2 things. You cannot edit off of external storage. So you have to import everything. So your iPad has to have enough space to import these big video files if you're having big video files. So that's a little bit hard. I can't imagine that not changing at some point. I think this is their very first, they just released it. I think they're going to build in that feature because the iPad Pros especially can, they have very fast USB-C ports. So they should be able to edit directly from external storage. And the other thing is you can take your project from your iPad to your computer and see the project there and continue working on it. Maybe you have some plugins on your computer that you want to use that you don't have on your iPad because they don't have those yet. But once you work on it on your computer, you can't take it back to your iPad and continue working on it. So that's another thing that makes it a little bit hard. But if you are very mobile oriented and you have an iPad with an M1 chip or higher, for $4.99 a month, you can use Final Cut Pro, and I think that's a great deal, actually. Let's see what everyone's saying. Let's see what you're all saying. Michelle says that was fascinating. Thank you. Marianne says interesting. I hope so. Michelle says I use the zoom on my phone to see everything. That's good. Yeah, you can sometimes zoom in, right? Susan says I may have to rewatch this. It was quite interesting. Good. I'm glad you liked it. I'm glad people liked it. I hope so. Cheryl says very interesting. I'm slowly learning I'm slowly trying to learn more on Lightroom. Makes a huge difference with the photos. Yeah, Lightroom. I don't use Lightroom that much. I do use it sometimes. I don't know. I never got into Lightroom. I don't know why. But on an iPad, on a tablet, it's nice because they do have lots of options on Lightroom. I should use it more. But I do edit most of my photos and stuff on my computer, and the Apple Photos, for me, for most of the things, because we're not trying to remove backgrounds and do a lot of that AI kind of stuff that you need. For me, the basic editing on Apple Photos does what we need it to do for the most part. Every once in a while, I'll have a troublemaker, and I will put it in another app and do that. So yeah, I'm glad you're using it. Your photos come out great. If that's what you've been using lately, kudos, because they look really good. So yeah, I hope that was interesting. I hope you liked it. I know it's not in everybody's wheelhouse. I know not everyone wants to do it, but if you do, I hope that gave you a basic overview of what you can do and how you can do your own videos. I know that the version for iPad has some preset things that makes it much easier to do social media, reels and stories, kind of that size on everything. The desktop version, I've not played around with it much. I did try it. If you saw the little lovebird video that I did a long time ago, for a lovebird pendant, I used Final Cut for that, and it was quite an experience. It was not as easy. It's much easier to do regular video type sizes rather than the portrait size. But I think they're changing that on the iPad version because so many people who use that are going to be posting to stories and reels, and that's probably going to be kind of their main purpose, right? Susan says I like Snapseed for some photo editing. Yeah, Snapseed by Google. That's a really good one. I've used that one a lot in the past. It's great for white balancing. If you like Apple Photos on the iPad doesn't white balance. I don't know why. It makes me crazy. It's the one thing I really need and I can't get it. But Snapseed does it real quick and real good. So that's a good one too. So anyway, that's the week in review. That's some video editing. I hope you enjoyed that. We're going to have to get going soon. So thank you for tuning in. And if you have any questions about any of that, please hit us up. Again, if you have not checked out the Lampwork review video from Monday, I hope you'll go back and watch that because there are some good Lampwork glass pieces that are still available. And you can just email us to request. That's it. And again, we're a fully stocked bead store, y'all. We don't put most of our tools in the online store. We don't put like wire. We don't put a lot of things, jump rings, head pins, that kind of stuff doesn't generally go into the online store. But if you need it and you're placing an order on the online store, you can make it a section in the notes. You can just say, hey, looking for 6mm silver jump rings. Can you add them in? and we'll invoice you separately for them and throw them in with your order. You can always do that. So please feel free. If you don't see something on our website and you're wondering if we have it, just send us an email and we'll help you hopefully get it. All right. So thanks for tuning in this week. Next week is my last Thursday class officially. They told me I could keep coming every Thursday if I want to. But I think Andrew's going to need a break here in a little bit. So yeah, I think next week I won't see you on Wednesday or Thursday, but then after that I will be back on Thursdays. So you'll see me Monday, unless we change Mondays, but you'll see me Monday, Thursday, Friday. All right. And I guess somebody said it's a long weekend here in the US. Is it? Let me open my calendar. What is going on? What's happening this weekend? You can see how out of it I am. Father's Day and Juneteenth. Boy, Juneteenth is here already. Father's Day is this Sunday. You can see how out of it I am. I didn't even have my US holiday calendar turned on. So yeah, crazy. So hopefully all of you out there have a happy Father's Day. Have a happy Juneteenth. We will see you on Monday though. But I hope you have a great weekend and stay tuned, because I think we're going to do a sale on kits in the online store. Kits only, to try and bust some of these out in the online store before we clear them all out, or most of them anyway. So stay tuned. We will send out an email and put it on Facebook and all that stuff when we come up with the sale. Maybe if we come up with one this weekend. All right. But yeah, the kits will be in the online store probably until the end of the month. And then most of the kits you see in there, gone, everybody. We'll be making more kits, probably, of course. But if you see something you like now, get it, because it will be gone, most likely. All right. Have a great weekend, everyone. And we'll see you back here probably on Monday. All right. Bye, everybody.